Hello there, thank you for joining me once again at my bench. In this tutorial I'm going to tie up another wet fly pattern. And this particular pattern I got out of a classic book, Ray Bergman's Trout. It's a really nice book to have. I was lucky enough to pick this one up last year at a flea market, and I got a steal on it. I got it for $5, and it was published in 1952. And there's some nice colored templates in it of wet flies and also dry flies and streamers. And the recipe for each fly is in the back. And I scrolled through the flies, and I figured the first one I'd tie would be the one I could find that I have the materials on hand to do. And this is the particular one I chose, and it's simply called the brown mallard. And one thing I did change up on it, the body calls for yellow wool, but I used some a more modern material. I used some yellow UV ice dub for that. Just changed it up a bit, but if you want you can just use yellow wool, and you could also use yellow dubbing as well. So we'll get this out of the vise here, a fresh hook in, and I'll get started. Okay, the hook is a standard wet fly hook, mustad 33.99. I'm tying on a size 10 here. So I'll get that locked down in the vise. Alrighty, and I'm going to use brown UTC 70 denier for my thread here. And we're going to start right behind the eye here, about an eye length behind this time. And we'll work our way back, form a nice thread base. Snip off the tag end. Come back to above the barb there. We're close to it, and for the tail it's just some brown mallard fibers. I pulled a sparse amount off for the tail. I don't want too thick of a tail on them. And we'll judge that for the hook shank length. Switch the ends and tie it in with a pinch loop. Just like so here. Alrighty. There's our tail. Now we'll trim that to our body length. Just like so. Now the rib calls for some small gold tinsel, and I have some here. We're going to tie this in for our rib, and we'll catch that in on the far side of the hook. Okay. Now pinch the tail and the tinsel together, hold it up because I want to make a few wraps back. A little closer to that barb, then move forward. Then we're going to tie all this excess mallard flank down. Okay, so there we have our tail and our rib tied in. Now I'm going to put a little wax on the thread here to start dubbing the body. And as you know, ice dub and these type of dubbings are a little harder to dub, so one thing I find, if I wet my fingers first, it seems to help a little bit. So we want to get our noodle started on here. And I want a slight taper on the body here, going towards the front. Just a wee bit. So we'll wrap this on here and see where it takes us here. Work back towards the back here. Alrighty. Just going to try to tighten that noodle up just a bit before I begin to wrap the body. Alrighty, and we're going to work towards the front here and try to build a slight taper as we go. Obviously I'm going to need some more dubbing, so we'll put a little more wax on our thread here, a little more ice dub. Alrighty, this stuff is a little tedious to work with, but if you're patient with it, it'll come. Alrighty, there we go. That's just about what I want right there. Just a tad bit more, not much at all. Just a little wisp of dubbing more on the front there. Alrighty, there we have it. There's all we need for dubbing, folks. Just going to throw in a quick half hitch here. Okay, there we go. There's the body. Now take the gold tinsel here and I'm going to wrap up the rib. And I usually get about 4 or 5 wraps here on this guy. Just like so. And we'll tie that off. And fold it back to lock it in place. Snip off the excess. Okay. Now there's our body and our tail. Okay. And it calls for brown hackle, so I have a brown soft hen hackle here ready to tie in by the tip. Got it all prepared there. Okay, so we'll grab the tip there and I'm going to tie that in right on top here. And fold that guy back. And then I'm going to reach in and grab him and give him a little pull like so. Now I'm going to make one wrap in behind that hackle so it stands up a little, then move my thread right behind the eye. Grab my pliers, grab a hold of that little stem. Okay, we bring those fibers back a little before we wrap so they're facing rearward. Then we're just going to wrap up our hackle collar here. Okay, just like so. Okay, just going to back that off a little. I don't like how that's... If you don't like it, you can always, you don't have to, just get a little twist here. Get twisted up here. I don't know what happened there, so I'm going to back that off. Just a little malfunction here, folks. I'll get a hold of it here in a second. Get it back under control. Okay. Let's try that over again here. Alrighty, now we're good. Okay, let's do this again. We'll wrap forward. Alright. Re-grip that stem. It's snipped off on me there a little bit. Okay. And wrap that all forward. And we'll tie that off right there. Okay, release the pliers. Now I'm going to pull everything back here. Come in and grab the stem. Give it a little pull like so. Alrighty. Now I'm just going to pull those fibers down and back a bit. And wrap back a ways. Okay, there we go. There's our hackle collar tied in. Now we just have the wing, and the wing is some more brown mallard. And what I did from one of these mallard feathers here, I stroked the fibers back and pulled off a section about a little bit wider than the hook gap. And what I do is I take those in my fingers and I just fold them with the thumb and forefinger, fold them together. It can be a little tricky, but that's what, just be patient with it. It'll work. Alright, and what you end up with is sort of like so. And now we're going to tie this in right on the top per wing. About halfway back on the tail. Okay, I'll come up with a pinch loop first. Come down between my fingers. Then I'm going to pull straight up on that. Then wrap 3 or 4 wraps forward, just like so. And that put our wing right on the top, right where we want it. Okay, so I'll come in and snip that off on an angle here. That excess trimmed out of the way. Alrighty, there we have it. Okay. Now, I want a little bit of glue on there before I finish off the head. Okay. If I can get it to come out here for me. Alrighty. I think I have to thin this cement out. It's getting a little thick on me, so that's one thing I gotta do. Alrighty, now we'll build the head up on this guy. Get a little bit of glue on there. Alright. And we'll just bind all those fibers down until we're happy with the head on this guy, and then I'll do a whip finish. Alright, he's just about there. That looks pretty good. Alright, that's fine. Okay, bring in my whip finish. And we'll do a 4 or 5 turn on this guy. There we go. Snug down on the thread tight. Come in and snip off the excess. And there we have it. There's another size 10 mallard wet fly. It's just tied the way you tie any standard wet fly, pretty much. But it's just a real old classic pattern. One of Ray Bergman's patterns from the book Trout. And I'll probably do a few more of these in the future. So last step is to take some more, some bone dry UV resin. And we'll cover those thread wraps here. Don't want to get down there too thick, but just want to cover the whole head. Alrighty. That's fine right there. Now, just come in with the UV torch and cure that up. Alrighty. Give him a little spin there. That should be good. Okay. So there we have it, folks. I thought you might like to see one of this guy tied up this time around, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button if you wish. I'd like to see more videos down the road. Appreciate that a great deal. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, everyone, happy tying out there. I shall see you all again soon, and so long for now, folks.